Partying till late at the Doi Chang campsite the night before, there was a fair few sore heads the next day. I did my morning checks on the Datsun 620 and everything seemed fine. Before we could leave though, Bon needed to check out his brakes. After having to bleed them the day before, they were still not working correctly. On his 620 he has upgraded front discs instead of the original drum brakes. This upgrade involves changing the hub as well as the upper and lower arms for more modern ball jointed ones. All the parts coming from a Datsun 720. It's an upgrade that I fancy doing on mine and makes sense as the front suspension on my Datsun urgently needs some attention. While Bon was finishing his brakes, I took the opportunity to check out some of the other cars that had joined us. Like this 1980s Toyota Corolla. Thailand's proximity to Japan means you see quite a few Japanese classics on the road. And quite a few of them were actually built in Thailand, as it is the 10th biggest car manufacturer in the world, producing twice as many cars annually as the UK. There was also an old Subaru. This first gen Subaru Leone looked immaculate. As you can probably see, Tick, the owner, was a big football fan, and it's not difficult to work out his favourite team. Being a forerunner to the Subaru Impreza, this four-wheel drive 70s car had no problems on the dirt tracks the day before, especially with the engine it has fitted, a more modern Subaru Boxer engine. A Nissan Big M also came, which over in the west we would call a Navara. The grandson to the 620, this Big M was a rare station wagon version, which I didn't even know existed. Made an awesome vehicle for camping and still had its original 2.5 litre turbo diesel engine. All the other cars were 620s, and it is interesting to see all the different modifications that people had made. For a start, I felt reassured that everyone else had lowered theirs as much as mine. I've toyed with the idea of raising mine back up to give me a bit more ground clearance, but to take it back to stock I'd also have to fit bigger tyres, as mine are much slimmer than the standard ones. It was also interesting to see that originality was prized on these trucks, with bumps and scrapes instead of being repaired, merely being adopted, each one telling a story and making that car more unique. I like this because I think if a classic car is too perfect, it makes you reluctant to drive it and it just ends up being garaged away and never used. All of the Datsuns had the original engine, apart from one which had a more modern twin-cam engine with variable valve timing, out of a Toyota Altezza. Mated to an automatic gearbox, as is common for a lot of cars in Thailand, it's a very tight fit. I'm interested in doing a manual SR20 swap into mine, but one thing's for sure, if I was to do this, I'd need to do some serious upgrades to the brakes and suspension first. Eventually, Bon's brakes were fixed, and we were ready to get back on the road. Unfortunately, that meant heading down some of the same roads as the day before.
Oh no.
Oh, made it. We stopped off at a local temple on the way down. This was so that we could make merry. This is a Thai Buddhist custom where offerings are made for good karma. This offering is often food for the monks, with any excess food going to poor locals, the temple dogs, or at this particular temple, a giant pig. This temple was at the Doi Chang Buddhist Park. I've been to this hidden park a number of times, and it's one of my favourite places to come in Thailand. There's something special about this place, and I wasn't sure I was going to put it in a video, as I selfishly wanted to keep it all to myself. But I guess if you watched the video this far, I can share it with you, and I'll pop a link down in the description. After the park, most people headed back to Chiang Mai, but me and Millie decided to spend Xmas and New Year's in Chiang Rai, so off we went. Stopping off in Millie's hometown, Chiang Khao. This is where I got to take a closer look at a less modified 620. As you can see, this one is at the stock ride height with much bigger tyres, with 3 15-inch wheels and bizarrely one 14-inch wheel. You can still see many trucks like this in Thailand, still working away every day. This one had also been fitted with a later Nissan Z engine out of the Big M and a manual 5-speed gearbox, and it bore many dents from its lifetime of work. We spent the next few days relaxing around Chiang Rai, visiting the second flower show and going to local events. There's always plenty going on here. Next time we plan to set off on the most ambitious road trip yet. Unfortunately though, we run into some very big problems. Oh dear.